What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, I'm bringing back Meganium into the Great League. It is a very strong Pokemon, very bulky grass-type attacker with Earthquake and Frenzy Plant. Those of you who have been playing Go Battle League since the first day, you guys know this was a meta Pokemon back then, and it's kind of fallen from grace the more we've seen Trevenant and Venusaur. Now, I also do face off against a lot of Lanturns on the lead in the back, so this team is going to showcase what it's potentially capable of against Lanturn teams. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Noctowl on the lead versus Shadow Abomasnow. So this is a very, very tough core breaker that we have to try to handle. So what I'm hoping to do here is, first of all, try to get myself shield advantage, and then I'm going to look to try to catch the charge move on Lapras. Seeing as they're over farming right here, I'm just going to blind swap, and they decide to throw. Now, this could be an energy ball, but I'm gonna let it go, and it was actually a weather ball, so we did catch it right there, and they swap in a Medicham. So, something else that is also very good against this team, but what you guys are gonna see is that this team is just so good. It's bulky all around. The bulkiest one of the bulkiest flyers, the bulkiest grass Pokemon, one of the bulkiest water ice out there besides Dugong, and we're going to be going for a Skull Bash here to do as much neutral damage as possible to the Medicham. Now, this is a unique opportunity for us to actually come in with Meganium and load up on energy. Just because the Frostlass is going to resist Frenzy Plant doesn't mean it's not going to get destroyed by the damage. It is a Shadow Frostlass. So we're going to go ahead and shield the Psychic. We're going to farm down, and let's see if they decide to bring back in the Abomasnow. They do, so it's going to be a CMP tie. So I'm actually going to be forced to shield right here, but this is still looking okay. We're going to go ahead and go for the Frenzy Plant. You guys are going to see this is resisted, but it's a Shadow Abomasnow coming from a Meganium, and it lands. We swap out and fast move down before they can react. The final Pokemon is going to be a Shadow Granbull. So Noctowl with Wing Attack and Sky Attack. This is going to be extremely close, and thankfully I timed the fast move right there. Timed the charge move very well on their fast moves, which means I'm going to be able to get to the next one in time, and this is going to be a good battle, very well played. I think what makes this team so good is even though we have core breakers with Abomasnow and Lanturn, the bulk from this team is incredible. All right, we got Noctowl here versus Azumarill. Not the best lead matchup, but honestly not too bad. So I'm going to try to catch the charge move there. I was hoping to catch the Ice Beam, but unfortunately it wasn't. But that's okay. Lapras still does well in this matchup because we have Skull Bash. Skull Bash is going to be very essential on this build. Now we do see a Trevenant come in, so I'm going to go ahead and I think I did 6 ice shards there to kind of fake for an ice beam, and we do get a shield, which is awesome, and then I should be able to get to another surf right here to do some extra resisted damage. I believe I did 6 right there, but let's see what they decide to do. They decided to no shield it. That's fine. Granted, if they didn't shield the surf, I would have taken switch right there because of the other surf damage and the ice shard damage. That's just how good Lapras with ice shard can be, and now I can safely come back in and fully farm down. I got myself shield advantage. I'm going to come in with massive energy advantage back into the Azumarill, and we'll have to see what the final Pokemon is. All right. Let's see. They're going to come back in with Azumarill, which is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and go for Sky Attacks right here. Then I'm going to be looking to potentially swap out, but I don't necessarily have to right away because I do have 2-to-1 shields. So what I'm actually hoping to do is get their second shield and then let Meganium have the potential to sweep. So there we go. We land 2 Sky Attacks. We're going to be able to get to the third in time, and this is from all of that energy farm that we got on that Trevenant and farming up against the Azumarill at the beginning. Now we did get the final shield, which is perfect. This is going to allow me to safely shield this charge move and then now come in with the Meganium and farm down. They swap out right away into Sableye. And this is a good game, guys. Meganium is so bulky. A lot of people haven't used it as of late. Like I said, there are good grass Pokemon out there that are more commonly used, like Trevenant and Venusaur, but Meganium is an OG. This Pokemon is so bulky, has great coverage against the meta that we do see. We survived the foul play right there. We fully farmed down, and we are going to go for a Frenzy Plant against Azumarill. Good game. All right, moving into the next one. We have Noctowl on the lead versus Lanturn. Okay, how do we handle this? Well, first of all, we have to stand with Noctowl for a bit. This is going to be a team effort. We got to go for Shadow Ball and apply some chip damage. Now, What we're going to also do is we're going to look to no shield on the Noctowl and then swap. Now we get a shield right there from Lanturn, which is always a positive. I'm going to look to no shield this Thunderbolt if it is. And no, it was a Surf Shield Bait, which is perfect. I'm now going to swap out into Lapras. Again, Lanturn does well against Lapras, but this is a team effort. They are not swapping out as well, which tells me maybe they don't have counters in the back. I am going to shield this one. It is a Thunderbolt. And now I should be able to get to the Skull Bash in time before another Thunderbolt can come through. This is going to get that Lanturn extremely low. And remember, we've still distanced Noctowl away. Switch Clock is coming up pretty soon. We can safely no shield this Thunderbolt as we can survive and get to another Surf, seeing as we've gotten 2 shields from them now. So against Lanturn, yes, Noctowl loses. Yes, Lanturn can lose. Or Lapras can lose, I should say. But we have successfully gotten all shields off of the field, kept 1 shield for ourselves, and now set ourselves in a position where we can come in with Meganium and hard farm down. Our switch clock is back up as well. So we're just going to go ahead and commit to that farm down. They're throwing a charge move, fine by me. We resist everything. Meganium is very, very bulky, so we can take that Thunderbolt, no problem. And we're just going to continue to farm down. They bring in a defense form, Deoxys. So this is very, very interesting. They didn't come into Lapras with defense form Deoxys, which tells me maybe they were more concerned about my third Pokemon, hoping it was going to be something like Galarian Stunfisk or Registeel, which makes a lot of sense. But Meganium is putting in work right now. We're going to go ahead and shield this charge move. It's probably going to be a Psycho Boost right here or Rock Slide. So it is the Psycho Boost, and we're going to go ahead and farm down. Now we have quite a bit of energy right now, so let's see what that final Pokemon is going to be. It is going to be a Beware. So super spicy right here. Frenzy Plant is going to do a ton of neutral damage because Beware is a glassy Pokemon. We're going to swap into Noctowl now to bait back out the Lanturn, which does have energy. And now this is going to allow us to farm down with Vine Whip right here. And we will be able to have a Frenzy Plant ready to go to close this game out. But no! It was a CMP tie. Oh man, I played that to a T. I don't know if there was anything else I could have done. Beautiful game right there to my opponent, but see it. Oh man, that was so close. All right, Medicham on the lead. This is a good lead for us. We will see them swap out into Azumarill, so we're going to bring back in that Meganium. Now, this is a very good situation where if they have to come back in with Medicham into my Meganium, we are going to put so much pressure on them. Frenzy Plant doesn't. They get no shielded, so we're going to go ahead and actually shield right here. The damage that we can stop with Ice Beam, I think, is going to be worth it because now Medicham is going to be forced to throw energy, and I have a Frenzy Plant basically ready to go. And you guys are going to see what a Meganium can do with bulk against a Medicham, or you guys are going to remember because you guys have played this probably back in 2020 when Meganium was meta. Look at that, 50% HP, and Medicham, this is going to be an Ice Punch. I can no shield. It's not going to KO me, guys. It's not going to do anything. Look at this. We still survive, able to get to another Frenzy Plant, which means we are now forcing a shield. We maintain switch advantage. We get a shield. Nope, they let it go. That is fine by me. Shadow Granbull is going to come in. Now we're going to have to close this game out with fast move damage. So I'm going to come in with Lapras right here as the bulk from Lapras with Ice Shard is going to be the best bet. Now I'm going to decide to go for Surf here because I don't know if this is going to come down to 2 Sky Attacks from Noctowl. But we're going to try our best. And they decide to go for the charge move here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and let this go. I think that's enough health down on Granbull where the Noctowl with Wing Attack here can close this game out, and that is looking to be the case, so that is a good battle, very well played. But what you guys are seeing is Meganium's ability to soak damage. Alright, we got a Trevenant here on the lead, obviously very positive for us. We will see them swap out in Galarian Stunfisk, so we're going to bring in Meganium. Once again, this Pokemon puts in work. What does it have access to, guys? It has access to Earthquake. This used to be, I'm telling you guys, back when Probopass, Bastiodon, and Lapras were the tanks before Registeel got Lock-On and Galarian Stunfisk came into the meta, Meganium was the Grass-type Pokemon because of Earthquake. So what we're going to do here is we're going to Shield Bait with Frenzy Plant. It is still very nice neutral damage. We get the shield. And now we can safely go for Earthquake right here to one-shot the Galarian Stunfisk because Meganium is just that good. Boom! One-shots the Galarian Stunfisk. All right, maintain switch advantage. Got ourselves shield advantage as well. Things are looking very good. They decide to come back in with Trevenant, and hopefully we can get to this Frenzy Plant in time. Yes, we can. Beautiful. This is resisted, but Trevenant is so glassy that it's going to take about I would say about 40% HP. Now we see a Registeel come in, which is fine. We can come in with Lapras, and this is still a very good situation, everyone. Even though Registeel, right, has Zap Cannon for both Lapras and Noctowl, we have shield advantage, and Surf does neutral damage. So we are good to go right here. I can safely double shield all of these charge moves. It does not matter because my Noctowl doesn't need any shields to beat that Trevenant in the back because we hard wall it. And this opponent's team is very meta. You guys have seen it a lot. It comes at no surprise that Trevenant, Registeel, and Galarian Stunfisk is a common team that you guys will face, and this team does great against it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and double shield the Zap Cannons right here, do as much damage with Surf as possible. They still haven't shielded yet, which is fine. If they decide to shield right here, we're still going to win. We still have Noctowl, so they actually decide to no-shield it. That's fine. We're just going to go for another Surf here. They decide to swap out instead into Trevenant, which is fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Noctowl and fully farm down. We also catch the charge move, which is beautiful right there, as it is going to be the Shadow Ball, which is heavily resisted. I mean, granted, everything from Trevenant here besides Foul Play, which they typically don't run, but they will decide to try to go for the last second charge move. This is probably going to be a Zap Cannon, and still, it does not matter. Oh, it was actually a Focus Blast, so they didn't have enough. It doesn't matter. We farmed down. It's a good game. Good game. All right. Moving into the next one, we have Noctowl on the lead versus Talonflame. Okay, so this is kind of a tough one because what I'm gonna read right here is that there is a water Pokemon in the back. My hope is that it's Lanturn or Azumarill most commonly that I would think with this team. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into double shields now with Noctowl into this Talonflame and look to just take it out, get it off the field because I want to have alignment, right? I want to have my Meganium lined up against their water type Pokemon that might be in the back. There may not be, but I'm gonna guess there is. So we're just gonna go ahead and safely double shield right here and then look to go for another Sky Attack. Now unfortunately these are all flame charges from my opponent, so we're going to go ahead and go for the Sky Attack here. I don't think I would have been able to get away with a Shadow Ball there, but it doesn't land. So now I have to swap out in order to take down the Talonflame because I think they would have gotten to another charge move with the wing attacks. But there sure was a Lanturn in the back, sorry. So Lanturn now is going to be able to get off the Thunderbolt, which is still okay because we still have Meganium. So long as they don't have a second flyer, which I'm guessing they probably won't, I think Meganium is going to be able to close this game out for us as we do a lot of damage with Skull Bash. So now we're going to come in with Meganium. Remember, we still have Noctowl with a good amount of health. The Talonflame is out of the game, so just by reading this team, there's probably not a hard counter. Oh, there's a Trevenant. That is still tough, but notice what they did. They switch locked themselves, which is now perfect because we can safely go for the Frenzy Plant. We can look to catch the charge move here on Noctowl and just farm down. They're going to have to throw 2 Seed Bombs in order to take us out, and then we can just farm down with Meganium, but instead I go for the Sky Attack here to take it out because Meganium, with the amount of health that I do have against the Lanturn here, is going to be able to survive double Thunderbolt and maybe even a Surf. Definitely 2 Thunderbolts we can survive, and we should be able to get to this Frenzy Plant in time. So there was technically a counter in the back with Trevenant, but ultimately, yeah, we definitely survive. But ultimately, we were able to take it right there. Good game. All right, moving to the next one. We got Noctowl on the lead versus Medicham again. So very positive lead for us, and this time my opponent decides to... Is this the one they swapped out? No, they decided to stay in. There we go. They swap out into Lanturn, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Meganium. I noticed that when an opponent stays in, in a situation like that where it's definitely a hard loss of Noctowl to Medicham, they usually are going to try to take an advantage by catching the charge move, which is why I overloaded on energy. And this is still very good for us. So I'm going to go ahead and go for Frenzy Plant now that I've built up to 2, which again, you guys saw how well Meganium did against the Medicham. Boom! Down it goes. They actually decide to bring in Noctowl this time. So even if they safe swapped Noctowl, right, instead of Lanturn, we would have had Lapras for it. So we checkmated them on team comp alone right here. And you guys are going to see how much damage Frenzy Plant is going to be doing to this Noctowl. Look at this Meganium put in work. That's a Noctowl, everyone. It got it to 25% HP. Like, come on. This thing is awesome. All right, we're going to bring in the Lapras now. They swap out into Medicham. We bring in Noctowl. We're going to go ahead and double shield right here because we are a bit ahead on energy, and obviously we don't want Ice Punches to take us out. So we're just going to go for 3 Sky Attacks in a row. This is basically going to be a shield game as of this point, as we both hope to get to the final charge move to KO the other one. So we're just going to double shield again, and I should be able to get to 2 Sky Attacks now. Since the Medicham is out of energy, we should be able to make it. Yeah, we definitely can make it right here. So we're going to go ahead and go for the first one, and then the second one will KO the Medicham, and then we have the Lapras for the Noctowl to close the game out. So, you know, they did safe swap Lanturn, which typically you don't see. But with this team, if they safe swapped the Noctowl, we would have just brought in the Lapras, and it would have been a good game right there anyways for us. All right, moving to the next one, we got Noctowl versus Trevenant again. Very common Pokemon you guys will see on the lead. We see a swap out now into Shadow Drapion. So this is actually a tough situation because we can't just straight up bring in something. We have to go for an advantage in some way, and we're going to go for the Sky Attack, which means we get shield advantage right there now from Drapion. And this now is going to allow us to come in with Lapras. We're also going to no-shield the first charge move, as it is going to be Crunch, and they dropped our defense. So that's why it's so important to be shielding the later Crunches, because now these ones are going to do more damage than that first one did. So all I need to do is go for double Surf right here. One is going to be getting the final shield, and the second one is going to be taking out the Drapion. So they decide to shield. I'm going to go ahead and try to go for another one. I'm going to have to give up a second shield. I want to maintain positive switch advantage, right? Noctowl to Trevenant. Switch clock is coming back up, and they actually decide to swap back in. So now I'm going to have to throw a Surf. And the reason why I have to throw the Surf is to delay my own switch clock so I can come back in with Noctowl to farm down. Now, thankfully, all shields are down right here, so this is very good. We don't know what their final Pokemon is going to be, but a Noctowl with Shadow Ball and Sky Attack and some loaded energy is probably going to do pretty well against it. So we're just going to go ahead, keep loading up on energy. I'm not going to throw a Sky Attack in this situation against Trevenant. There's no need to. We're just going to farm down. The energy is much more important. Now, they bring in a Bastiodon. So, this is probably the worst case scenario. I mean, Lanturn would have been better, obviously, because Shadow Ball just doesn't do too much damage, and we have to delay our switch clock. As you guys can see on the bottom right-hand side, the timer is kind of coming up, the faded image. So we have to throw one Shadow Ball. We're almost there, so I'm going to have to look to... I can't swap out. I'm going to have to go for a Sky Attack here, and then we're going to come in with Meganium and load up on energy. Now remember, there is still that Drapion in the back, so the second I see it, I have to swap into Lapras, because I need to either catch that charge move they're about to get to, or I need to throw that Surf. So they go for the Flamethrower. I'm looking at top right. They swapped in. I instantly swap into my Lapras and go for the Surf. This is now going to seal the deal because Bastiodon does not have enough damage output in order to take out my Meganium. You guys just saw how much damage Flamethrower did, and they decide to surrender right there, and that is going to be a good game. All right, moving to the next one, we got Noctowl versus Pelipper. Okay, so somewhat of a neutral matchup against my whole team, but ultimately we can do pretty well right here. They decide to swap out into Registeel, so I'm going to bank my energy and come in with Meganium. This is, again, a very good situation for us because of Meganium's bulk. We can safely no-shield. Like, come on, give me your best, Registeel. It's actually, they go for Zap Cannon, which is fine. We're going to go ahead and now go straight for Earthquake. They are likely going to no-shield this because they just debuffed me. So that's going to allow me to land a free Earthquake. And now I can go for a Frenzy Plant here. And this is going to KO the Registeel. If they decide to shield, I can likely farm down with Vine Whip. So we do get switch advantage, which is perfect. Pelipper is going to come back in. And this is going to showcase once again the bulk on Meganium. We can no-shield this. This is fine. This is fine. It's just a weather ball. Look at that. We survive. And we get to a frenzy plant anyways. And this is neutral damage against Pelipper, which means it's going to force a shield. And now we can safely come in with Lapras right here and load up on energy. Now, I decided to let this go through, but it was actually a hurricane. That is a lot of unnecessary damage that I took right there, but that's okay. We're just going to go ahead and keep loading up on energy. I'm now actually forced to shield a weather ball, which is unfortunate because I don't know what that final Pokemon is, but I need the energy on Lapras, and then I'm going to go ahead and actually swap into Noctowl. They weren't swapping out, so my head is telling me maybe they're weak to Lapras in the back. Maybe it's some pseudo like Pelipper, Altaria, Registeel or something like that, but no, it was actually a Galarian Stunfisk, another very meta team. So now we're just going to go straight for Shadow Balls right here, and what's great about Noctowl's bulk is we can actually survive a Rock Slide from this range. So we're just going to go ahead and shield the first one. We're going to go for another Shadow Ball right here. Remember, our Lapras has a lot of energy. We have, I think, 1.5 Surfs. I think we're maybe 1 or 2 Ice Shards away from another Surf. And they decided to let that next Shadow Ball go through, knowing that they have to fear the Surf in the back. And if we get a shield right here, it's game over because we can go for a Surf. They actually decide to let it go. That is going to be a good game, very well played. Had they shielded that and gone for Rock Slide, I would have just surfed the Galarian Stunfisk and then Ice Sharded the Pelipper down. Good game. This team is so bulky and was so satisfying to use. The one Pokemon that I say you guys got to watch out for is going to be that Lanturn, but I showed you guys some different situations in which I handled it. Granted, we almost won that Lanturn lead game. It was so close. But ultimately, it was a very fun team, and you guys should give Meganium a try again. It does very well in this meta. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.